Now broadcasting from his hidden bunker and fully stocked bar, it is the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor.
Thank you and welcome once again, my friends, to the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, adventurer, entrepreneur, and amateur bed photographer. And welcome to AWSM Radio, an independent digital-only radio station that plays today's best music, old school classics, along with a rotating cast of all-star DJs. AWSM Radio focuses on mainstream artists, independent artists, along with a variety of interesting talk and music shows throughout the day. All we do here is entertain, inspire, and inform. And my friends, I want you to be part of the show. I want you to join the conversation, and I want to engage with you, my friends. So find me on the Twitter, on the Rizzle, on the Instagram at Colt S. Taylor, and catch up with all things Colt Sebastian Taylor at ColtSebastianTaylor.com. It's my website. If you haven't bookmarked it, you're a fool. So do it right away. And I update it, weekly-ish. It's just bookmark it. All right, my friends, let's get started with this week's Saturday Report. First up this week, I want to give a shout-out and warm thoughts to my fans and listeners in Texas. They have gone through quite a difficult week down there with historic winter storms affecting the entire state, really. When you see snow on the beaches of Texas, you know it's cold down there. Texas, if you're unfamiliar, my friends, is not, especially the southern part of Texas, not exactly familiar with deep freeze cold, so to speak. They're not really very winterized. Not very winterized houses or facilities down there. So they've had a rough go these last few days. At one point, over 4 million people had no power in the state, which is quite a bit. The reports that the Texas power grid was minutes away from a catastrophic failure. What does that mean if you lose power? Well, a catastrophic failure means like lines melt, substations blow up, and it takes 1 to 2 months to fix. So, that kind of failure. But things are slowly getting back to normal down there, getting a little bit warmer there. For those vacationing in Cancun, maybe not so great. But everyone else, I wanted to say hello and hope you're doing okay and managing as best as possible down there. I do know I have a few folks down in Texas that do listen to my fantastic show, and I've been following the stories closely and hope you are doing okay. Which leads me into my first sort of story, snowblowers. Yes, snowblowers. And they're great, especially if you're getting a little bit older, don't want to deal with the snow, your kids don't shovel. And there's all kinds of snowblowers out there. There's gas-powered ones. There's, heavy-duty commercial ones. I, myself, got one this year. Got a little battery-powered one. Just wanted to clear out the sidewalks and help clear out snow around the cars. I'm not as a spring chicken as I used to be. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm making mucho money from this radio show. I should invest it on something myself, a snowblower. However, my friends, if you have a Toro snowblower, you might want to check the serial number because Toro is recalling 6,700 snowblowers. You may be asking yourself, why would I have to give the snowblower back? Is it making snow? Is it not blowing snow? Well, it's just it's not turning off when people are turning it off, which means it is an amputation hazard. Yes, it's an amputation hazard. No injuries have been reported yet, but there's been 5 reports where they have disengaged the snowblower and it's still running, and they have to do it a few times for it to finally turn off. It's only affecting a limited number of snowblowers. They were sold between November 2020 and January 2021 for about $1,200. They are the model year 2021 Toro Power Max OHAE snow throwers with the model number 38 37802 listed on the back of the product. And the serial numbers, you can go to Toro's website and get more information about that. They'll be able to fix it, get you a new one, etc., etc. So, my friends, if you bought a $1,200 snowblower and it says Toro on it this year, you may want to check. You might want to check with their website. Check with the serial to make sure you don't got one that is a little touchy when you turn it off. You know, if you have something that can take off fingers, a hand, half an arm, you want to be able to turn it off when you want to be able to turn it off. So that struck me as like, oh boy, 2021, you're just 2020 with a mustache on, aren't you? But anyways, friends, do be careful. Even if you don't have a snowblower that may or may not turn off, you want to be shoveling carefully. Lift with your knees. If you feel a little hot and bothered or whatnot, take a break. You don't want to keel over with a heart attack, fall over the snow, and just, be careful. Take it easy. Because, hey, listen, I don't want to lose any of my listeners. How am I going to afford a better snowblower next year? And, of course, I want you to be around. Of course, I want you to be around. We now go across the Atlantic Ocean to the United Kingdom, where, my friends, I smell a rat in London's number 10 Downing Street. No, I'm not talking about Boris Johnson. I'm talking about a rat and mice and etc. You see, this week, the United Kingdom's chief mouser celebrate 10 years on the prowl. What is a chief mouser? Well, it's Larry. Larry the cat. He is a four-legged inhabitant of the Prime Minister's official residence, and he has been catching mice in the United Kingdom for 10 years now. He went on the job, and he just sort of hangs out on the property, chasing mice and clearing the mice out from the offices. They had a bit of a mice problem, but they recruited a cat, and the cat just sort of lives there. And his name is Larry. Larry the cat. He was hired by then Prime Minister David Cameron to deal with rats that were scuttling around the area and didn't really provide a very good sort of, photographic opportunity, because it's a place where the Prime Minister comes out, gives a lot of press conferences, a lot of statements. It's down the street. I mean, press on the other side, they hang out there all day waiting for announcements from 10 Downing Street. So they got this cat, Larry the cat, and he's been there for 10 years. And he is he's been filmed and photographed many, many times. He kind of just lounges out in the sunlight during the day. When it's a slow news day, there'll be pictures of Larry the cat just sort of wandering around. The police, police that guard the street, pet Larry the cat. They'll let Larry into the house. Sometimes Larry will just sit there, look at the policeman like, hey, can you let me in? And it's become one of the... it's become a beloved figure in British politics, apparently. Now, apparently Larry has met a number of world leaders. He has reportedly been largely unfriendly to men, but apparently he took a liking to former President Barack Obama and slept under the car of former President Donald Trump when he visited in 2019. But fortunately they got him out from underneath the car before they took off. That would be, that'd be unfortunate. He's now 14. He still prowls and patrols. He even releases statements about his career as chief mouser. So he's pretty much a fixture on number 10 Downing Street, and they released a special statement denoting his decade-long service as chief mouser. And reportedly, Larry released a statement saying he has no plans on retiring anytime soon. Next, my friends, we go to food news. Kit Kat bar, break me off a piece. Break me off a piece. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar, except if you're a vegan, because you can't eat the Kit Kat bar. Until now, my friends, Nestle will soon launch a vegan Kit Kat bar, and it is widely expected and seen to be the first major bar first major candy from a major candy brand to be 100% vegan. There are vegan candy bars and treats out there, but a major company like Nestle, this is the first time they have put effort into releasing a vegan Kit Kat bar. They honestly, they see a market there. They see where they can make some money off of the vegan community, so they've put some effort and some research, and where we'll be coming out with the vegan Kit Kat bar. I'll certainly try it out. Maybe I'll do a live taste test on here. Some what was it called? Muckbanging? Yes. Is there audio muckbanging? I don't understand it. But when I see one, I will get it. I will try it out. I will compare and contrast. I mean, I feel like it's my duty to do so. But anyways, they are releasing it. Some other brands are looking into it. But the problem with there are some other vegan candies out there, like Twizzlers are vegan, Sour Patch Kids are vegan, but chocolate has proven to be very, very difficult to make vegan, because there are milk in many chocolate products. So dark chocolate is easier to conform to vegan standards. But even then, some major dark chocolate brands are not vegan enough to be qualified as being, quote unquote, vegan. But Kit Kat has developed this Kit Kat bar that will be able to meet those qualifications, and it will be coming out sometime this year. It will be very obviously labeled. It'll just say, Kit Kat vegan. I think it's kind of a green wrapper and whatnot. And yeah, I am honestly can't wait to. I tried the Beyond Meat stuff. I enjoyed it. I will try this. I'm always willing to try something interesting and new, within reason. I won't do coconut because I'm allergic, whatnot. But Nestle's head of confectionery, Alexander Van Moliot, I'm guessing he is from Europe. In a news release, he said, quote, "I can't wait for people to be able to try this amazingly tasty new Kit Kat. This is a product for everyone who wants a little more plant-based in their life." So that's coming out. I'm looking forward to try it. When I do, like I said, my friends, I will give you a live in-person review here on the Saturday Report. Moving along from something delicious to something terrible. COVID-19. I can't quite seem to get away from that story. Much like when, people went Beyond Meat, the plant-based meat, it seemed like everybody wanted to do their own Beyond Meat sort of take on it, and, it was a trend, it was a fad and whatnot. Seems like now countries are all on the COVID-19 variant bandwagon. Every country is releasing a new COVID-19 variant. It's like, have you had enough? I think I've had enough. First there was South Africa, then there was Brazil, the UK variant, all, trying to do new and exciting things, more virulent and whatnot, easier to spread. Well, hey, our Finnish friends from Finland, well, boy, howdy, they've released their own hit COVID-19 strain that might not be able to be picked up on some tests. Scientists are currently, in all seriousness, the scientists are looking into reports and samples of COVID-19 from Finland that have mutated slightly to the point where some PCR tests, which are the sort of the gold standard in terms of detecting if you have COVID-19 or not, aren't picking up this virus all the time. Like it's being missed. It's being missed in tests. I don't know what tests they're using to find it. They must be using fancier, more expensive tests than the ones us peasants get. But that's a bit of a concern. One of the scientists said that, quote, "I would not be hugely worried yet because we don't have clear information that this new strain would be more easily transmitted or that it would affect the immune protection brought about by already having the virus or received a vaccination," according to the scientists looking into it. Sure, I wouldn't be worried yet. Gosh, that sounds a whole lot like February 2020. So, once again, my friends, listen, the viruses mutate and whatnot. Even if you do have, a vaccine or you have vaccinated, wear the mask, wash your hands. You're not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting friends, family, and you're just being a pleasant member of the community. And hey, you know what? Bedazzle the mask. Do a little, put a little sports team on, make it funny, make it fun. I mean, I got a mask for a while that had another beard on it. So it was a beard over beard over beard. It was hilarious. Then things got terrible over the summer, and then I decided not to be hilarious out in public. But, yeah, so the Finland variant, right now they're looking into it. Could be slip under those tests. So do be careful, especially to all my Scandinavian listeners out there. I know there's at least, a dozen, I bet. Be careful. Be safe. Wear a mask. Next, my friends, it's time for some celebrity news. Paris Hilton is at it again. Actually, she's been out of the news for quite a while right now. She sort of has taken things down a few notches in the last decade. And now she's engaged for her 40th birthday. Yes, my friends, I'm sorry. You heard that right. Paris Hilton is 40 years old. Ugh, I know, right? Do you feel old? So, she is engaged to Carter Reum? I don't know how to say his name. Who is a venture capitalist, and he formed with his brother Vive Spirits, and it was listed as, let's see here, Inc. magazine's 500 fastest growing private companies in America. He pops on to CBS and Fox, Huffington Post, Inc. magazine, doing some commentary. His investment firm is M13. He hasn't invested in me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, so I can't be that great. But good enough for old Paris Hilton. They are now engaged. They announced it this week for her 40th birthday. So apparently it was a very sweet moment. So she's obviously had her, past issues and whatnot, but nice to see that she's finally settling down a bit. I'm sure they still have fun, but nice to see that, when folks have a rough go of things, and they don't always work out, but nice to see that she has worked things out in her life and is getting engaged. So congratulations to Paris Hilton and Carter Reum, however you say your name, whoever you are. Congratulations on your engagement. I am available to MC said after engagement, after wedding reception party or after party. My rates are very reasonable. I'm just saying. And so bring that to you. That came across my news desk. So congratulations to Paris Hilton. Now, Paris, Carter, I can call you Paris and Carter. Listen, you guys are getting married, obviously. You're gonna need a DJ, and there's no one I can recommend more than my pal DC, because he has a show here. And if you want to check him out, you need to check out his show here on AWSM Radio, DC Live in Effect. And he is, my friends, my two new friends, he is AWSM Radio's in-house DJ, and he mixes it up every Friday night at 9 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m. You do not want to miss out while he smashes it on the ones and twos from his South Florida compound. I mean, you need to listen to him. You need to hire him. You need to have him come to your reception, be the master of ceremony. I'll be there. I mean, we can both come, why not? But if you need good music, you need good party music, you need somebody who knows how to have a good time, how to show people a good time, you need to hire my pal DC. And if you're not convinced, you need anyone here needs to listen to his show, DC Live in Effect, right here on AWSM Radio. Remember, Fridays at 9 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m. You do not want to miss this great show of music from my pal, DC. My friend DC plays music at venues all over the world, but one venue he will not be playing at is the former Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino. Why? Because of unpaid bar bills, because he's a bit rowdy with his old pal, Colt Sebastian Taylor. No, my friends, it was imploded this week. It had been closed for several years now. The 34-story tower and casino was imploded after about 9 a.m. Earlier this week. Drew quite a crowd. Everyone loves a good implosion. It was once a sort of crown jewel of casinos along the boardwalk in Atlantic City, but had been closed, I believe, since 2014 or 2016. And there were talks about it being reopened as a school, et cetera, et cetera. But it didn't. They closed, like I say, closed in 2014, operated for 30 years. I believe it was the only casino that Trump built from the ground up. Once it closed in 2014, the other casino, Trump's Taj Mahal, closed in 2016, and other Trump-related properties did close in Atlantic City. At one time, Atlantic City had 15 different casinos, but gambling times, they have been rough. Now I believe there's only about 9 operating casinos in Atlantic City, and the area is trying to diversify, really, to open up other venues of entertainment and not only be known as a gambling town. Now, why have casinos taking a hit in Atlantic City? Are people more virtuous now? No, it's just gambling is easier in a lot of other states. For example, New York has opened some casinos. Pennsylvania used to be a big source of people going from Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, taking the highway, the train down to Atlantic City for the day, for a day trip, gambling, and coming back to Pennsylvania. Well, now Pennsylvania has like 5 casinos, so you don't have to go across the bridge and travel an hour down to New Jersey and back just to gamble. You can do that in many states now. And, Atlantic City, now that gambling has opened up in more states, providing streams of revenue to those states. Sports betting has now opened up a wee bit more across different states. Atlantic City is no longer the exception to the rule where open gambling is legal. You had Las Vegas, you had Atlantic City, now you have a lot of stuff in between. Even Las Vegas is taking a bit of a hit now that gambling and casinos and these entertainment venues that get major acts are all now opening up all over the United States, and because they can be regulated, they can be taxed, they can get revenue to various programs, and Atlantic City was overextended, so that's why they're now down to just dying casinos. So, anyways, went off on a tangent there, talking about the economy of gambling here in the United States, but the Trump Plaza Hotel is now no more. They're going to be redeveloping the site into something else, but it's no longer there. Imploded this week. In entertainment news, Tim Burton announced that he will be doing a television series on Netflix called Wednesday, which follows the character from the Addams family, Wednesday Addams, as she heads off to a peculiar Nevermore Academy, set to run 8 episodes of her going to school there, and it'll be just her dealing with relationships with her there in school. This is Tim Burton's first venture into a television series. The series will be unconnected to any of the past films or recent animated films. I don't know if you have seen the more recent ones. I haven't. I'm a classic 1990s Addams Family fan with Hurrah Julia and Angelica Houston. Big fan. But I do like Tim Burton. I do like Netflix does put out some quality stuff, so I would be definitely interested in seeing this. No word yet on who will be starring as who, or who will be involved with it. But Tim Burton, the mind behind Batman, Beetlejuice, Corpse Bride, The Nightmare Before Christmas, the film adaptation of Sweeney Todd. I'm curious because he puts out some pretty good work, and I would definitely want to see this. I'd be curious to see who would be playing Wednesday Addams in this show, and then I also hope that if they can somehow work Christina Ricci, who played the original Wednesday Addams, and Angelica Houston somehow into this series. Oh boy, that'd be just a real treat for me, I think. A real nice nod and whatnot. If they can do it, great. If not, no big deal. But check it out. Coming at some point, probably this year, Wednesday, the series on Netflix. In other entertainment news, Rush Limbaugh passed away this week at the age of 70 due to complications of stage 4 lung cancer. For decades, he was an icon of conservative radio, built quite a talk radio empire in the time where, broadcast radio is, giving away to more, digital radio stations like this, like AWSM radio, but managed to stay relevant and involved in American politics for decades, really. His syndicated show reached 600 stations throughout the United States and was listened to by millions and millions of people every day. He had been off the air for 2 weeks and had some sit-in guest hosts and whatnot, but this week his wife came onto the air and announced his passing away due to lung cancer. He was lauded by many figures on the right, paved the way for other conservative radio hosts like Sean Hannity and all that whole gang of folks and whatnot. Obviously, not without his controversies and whatnot. Not a universally liked or loved figure. Had many controversies throughout his career. Quite a few. Not worth really going into, but pop on his Wikipedia, you come across them and whatnot. But many former President Donald Trump and George W. Bush released statements about him, and he passed away at the age of 70. There is no real successor, really, to him. There's no one. A lot of folks who certainly would love to capture that market share, so to speak, but no really seemingly one person that will sort of slip into that role and be his successor, so to speak. But pretty much, I would say, an end of a conservative radio era, really, with his passing. Long career, full of controversies. That's how he made his money. Just like old Howard Stern, those two aren't well known for their Mr. Rogers personality. Just saying. But anyways, that was the big news. He had not been doing well for quite a while. But big news this week is him passing away at the age of 70. In other entertainment news, YouTube is launching YouTube Shorts. They will be shorts you wear that have cameras on them, giving the world a perspective of what your belt sees every day. It's got cameras on the belt, the side, and on the rear, so you have a 360-degree view of what it looks like 2 to 3 feet off the ground. Just kidding. I got you on that one. No. They are launching YouTube Shorts, which is going to compete with TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, my friends at Rizzle and whatnot. Is sort of that sort of genre of the 1-minute video, so to speak. They'll be launching it here in the United States in March. It has already been in India for several months. They have found, I guess, some pretty good success over there. They've seen it see 3.5 billion daily views. They released it, I believe, in September, either September or December, and has taken off. Very popular there in India, apparently. And they'll be launching it now here in the United States, probably in March. TikTok, which is a big in the whole 60-second video market. A lot of good comedy on there. It's kind of. I feel like kind of taking some of the market from Snapchat, because like Snapchat had its 15, 60 seconds, but it would be then lost. It gets deleted, just poof, gone, whatnot. With TikTok, it gets saved. With Rizzle, it's on there and whatnot forever. So you can develop these sort of 1-minute comedy bits and put out 1-minute video logs and blogs and whatnot. And YouTube wants to get in on that. Instagram launched Reels, which also does that sort of thing. It competes with that sort of space. And then Twitter released Fleets, like a fleeting moment, and those are 30-second sort of stories and whatnot. But those don't last. Those are the sort of Instagram stories that's supposed to compete with Instagram and Snapchat, but it's still in that 30 to 60 second video space, so to speak. Here is what I think is just kind of funny. Remember Vine? Remember Vine, folks? That's sort of like those 6 to 10 second videos that kind of really, I think, was like the beginning of this sort of trend of these short, tight bits of videos that were consumed and whatnot. Twitter bought Vine. Okay, Vine was just a whole bunch of very fun content on there, and Twitter bought Vine, and then they shut it down. And I think, Twitter does a lot of things wrong and some things right. This was a huge financial mistake for Twitter. And they could have gotten in on the game on this and beaten out TikTok. TikTok probably wouldn't even exist if Twitter got on top of that when they bought Vine. They didn't see it, and there were some opportunities, and Snapchat, TikTok, Rizzle all took advantage. And you just can't get that back. You can't put that genie back in that bottle. So, anyways, March. YouTube Shorts, not something you wear. It's something you make content with. I'll probably check it out, but listen, folks, I'm on Rizzle, and that's what I'm there to say. I've soured personally on YouTube. Ever since they changed how they pay their creators, so like it's not worth struggling to get a few nickels for a few views, whereas I can go elsewhere and get a whole lot more out of it. I really do. But out of my duty to you, my friends, to check out these new things and new technology, I will most certainly check out YouTube Shorts and see how well it fits. Oh, I'm hilarious. You know what? From a marketing perspective, they will probably put out actual shorts that say YouTube Shorts on them. Now, my friends, who is not even remotely short on talent is my beautiful, talented, wonderful friend, Rox, and she hosts the Rox Sessions. It is a drive time show, making sure to make that evening commute home fun. She hosts her show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and yes, even Friday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. playing the hottest, so hot, there's a red flag warning, the hottest music on the charts and some surprises in between. She always makes it rock. Rox style. She's my pal, Rox. You've heard, if you are a regular listener, and you are, admit that you are, you will hear her on this station between 5 and 7 p.m. on weekdays. She wants to be here on the weekends. We said, you need to take a break, Rox. Take a break. You will burn out, but she is on here every weekday, 5 to 7 p.m. here on AWSM Radio. And my friends, you need, I went back to need. You need to listen to the Rox Sessions right here on AWSM Radio. Now, my friends, listening to Rox is never a mistake, but a mistake came across my news desk this week that, oh boy, it certainly caught my attention. Citibank made a $500 million mistake. Yes, $500 million mistake when it just made a mistake here. It's considered to be one of the biggest blunders in banking history. It accidentally sent $1 billion to people, and they're only allowed to get $500 million back. Now, that may seem odd to you, but actually it's perfectly legal what happened here. So anyways, Citibank handles money for Revlon's lenders. So Revlon, the makeup company, has a lot of debt, owes money to folks, and Citibank pays those lenders in installments, just like you would do a normal loan. Well, they accidentally sent out about $900 million in one day to all of their vendors, all of their lenders. It was 100 times the amount they were supposed to send out. They sent out $900 million to all of these different lenders. Now, they didn't realize they made that mistake for a few days now. They asked for the money back because it was a mistake. Some sent it back, some didn't. And so they went to court. There was a court order on the money, so the money was sort of frozen there. They sort of figure things out. But they were only allowed to get back about half of that money. Now, it is illegal for you to spend money that's not yours. So if you woke up one morning and had $30 million in your bank account, like, oh, bank error in my favor. Thank you, Monopoly. I'm going to buy an island. That is illegal. You're spending money that does not belong to you. But in New York, there is an exception to that law that if you get money that was owed to you, you can keep that money. So, like, if you owed your old buddy Colt Sebastian Taylor $100, and then, you're paying $10, and then $10, and then you actually sent me $100, I'm not giving that money back. I'm keeping the money that was due to me. You just paid me off early. So, they weren't allowed to get all that money back. So they made this big blunder, and they just paid off the lenders years in advance. Now, the lenders didn't say anything because they just thought they were paying early, because the amount that was sent to the lenders, I keep saying vendor, the lenders, was exactly the amount of money to the penny that they needed. So somebody at home made a mistake because everyone's working from home now, and it's just done. They got some of the money back, but they a lot of the money they're not getting back. The judge, they went to court for this case. The judge was not impressed with Citibank's explanation of what happened, that they made the mistake but didn't realize it for 24 hours later. A court document said, and I quote, "To believe that Citibank, one of the most sophisticated financial institutions in the world, had made a mistake that has never happened before to the tune of $1 billion would have been borderline irrational." So they got some internal chat rooms, transcripts of Citibank employees sort of joking about the mistake. And so since it took them a day to figure it out, and since those people already owed that money, they get to keep the money. So I guess the only silver lining here is I guess Revlon will save a wee bit in terms of interest payments. But totally not Revlon's fault. That's why they have Citibank to manage their debt. They're just some of their loans are now paid off. Thanks, Citibank. Now they owe Citibank some money, but now Citibank, they paid debt that Revlon owed. So I guess that debt transfers to Citibank. I have no idea. I don't know how that works. Oh, that just occurred to me. Who does Revlon owe money to now? They probably owe money to somebody. Probably Citibank, but maybe not. Oh boy, that's a pretty big mistake. And finally, my friends, for the last story of this week, we go back to Texas, where sea turtles. I'm talking about sea turtles. Fun fact. Sea turtles do not like the cold. So with the frigid weather here in Texas, a bunch of sea turtles have sort of washed up on shore, stunned by the cold. But volunteers have rushed to the beaches, picked them up, carried them to areas where there's still heat and power. And so there was this one photo of a large conference room that had a bunch of tarps down, and about 3,000 sea turtles were laid out, being cared for by volunteers, keeping them warm and wet until they can be finally taken back to the ocean and released again once the cold snap is over down there. So tip the pith helmet to the volunteers down there, helping that species. Otherwise, there would be a massive die-off in sea turtles off the Texas coast. And that, my friends, just about wraps up this week's Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And remember, if you think I missed a story, you think there's something I should cover, hit me up on the Twitter, on the Instagram, and on the Rizzle at Colt S. Taylor. Engage with me there. I love attention, so I'm always enjoying talking to some fans of the show. And of course, if you haven't already, bookmark ColtSebastianTaylor.com for all things Colt Sebastian Taylor. If you haven't already, you're making a terrible mistake. And, yeah, I will see you then. So, until then, my friends, I am, of course, Colt Sebastian Taylor, and I'll see you later.